Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einer neuen Session aus dem Weg in Lone Echo 2. Ja, es geht mit der Story weiter und wir haben immer noch dieses blöde Questmarker-Ding hier im Visier. Ich weiß nicht, das scheint echt ein Bug zu sein. Ich kann den auch nicht ausschalten. Gut, müssen wir mit leben. Wir sind im Research Center und gucken uns jetzt mal an, ob wir hier Biomass-Proben finden, die wir gebrauchen können, wir erinnern uns, in der Zeit erneut zurückzureisen und mehr darüber herauszufahren, wo wir denn einen undetonierten Torpedo bekommen. So, was haben wir denn hier? Ein unbekannter Raum.
There's a room jutting into this cave. Could it be part of the biomass containment area?
Negative. The room you're seeing is part of the facility's integrity monitoring system, responsible for tracking any changes in the asteroid structure during excavation. For safety reasons, biomass containment is located much deeper in the facility.
Das ist gut zu wissen. Sicherheit geht vor. So, was haben wir denn hier? Eine Art Museum.
This device looks vaguely similar to the cranes we saw in the transit hub.
Good eye, Jack. That's because it's an early version of the stasis field technology used by those cranes, as well as our cargo drones and many other systems. As you can imagine, the ability to manipulate objects without direct contact has significant advantages when dealing with the biomass.
So, hier hat auch jemand wohl nicht dran gedacht, die Wasserreserven aufzufüllen. Ja, ein Stasis-Prototyp. Was ist das? Garantiert so eine Recharge-Geschichte.
This appears to be some sort of focusing device. I haven't seen anything like it elsewhere on Chiron Station.
It's actually a prototype of the technology our containment units use to keep Dix pacified.
As in the technology that shorted out while Jack and I were trapped in the engineering bay.
Yes, though that was due to the power cycling abnormally. I assure you, it's usually quite stable.
Yeah, one would hope.
Usually. So, hier mal ein leeres Display-Case.
Somewhat odd to leave this case empty.
It's fairly straightforward. Our work was never finished.
Mhm. Kurz und auf den Punkt. Dann haben wir hier ein FTL-Drive-Replika.
A scale model of the FTL drive on Dr. Harlan's ship. Was the drive developed here?
Not exactly. While the few FTL drives still in service were refitted here, the original design was actually reverse engineered from the FTL drives left behind aboard the Estrella. That was done by your former employer, in fact.
Wait, Atlas built them?
Indeed. Before the company dissolved, of course.
So Atlas reverse engineered their own technology from the future?
Technically, yes.
Ah, how perfectly normal and not at all confusing.
Und das ist halt das, was ich glaube ich schon mal gesagt habe. Das ist total witzig, ne? Die, genau, reverse engineeren ihre eigene Technologie aus der Zukunft.
This bridge is currently disconnected as part of the lockdown procedures.
Correct. The doors won't open until both sides of the bridge are fully extended.
Did they get everyone out?
According to these logs...
No, not everyone got out.
Ja, also die haben ihre eigene Technologie reverse engineert und deswegen kann das gar nicht sein. Es ist ein Paradox, ein Gegenstand, der keinen Ursprung hat. So, was ist hier passiert? Auch wieder einer draufgeschlagen, wie in der Tram-Station.
It seems someone was emphatic about maintaining the lockdown. I'm guessing the console would have controlled the bridge.
Affirmative. I'm not seeing any backup controls in the blueprints, unfortunately. It's possible the cave contains systems not listed in the schematics. It may be worth a quick investigation.
So, dann haben wir noch Teil der Extension Bridge. Den Schalter meinen wir garantiert. Das heißt, wir können hier rein. Excavation A. Das muss hier natürlich wieder alles recycelt werden. Denn scheinbar ist das jetzt hier wieder Outer Space und sauerstofflos. Na, aber wie immer, wir gucken uns erstmal hier um. Was denn hier? Ne, hier haben wir nämlich eine Station, aber ich weiß, hier hinten ist noch was. Ach, wir können dann doch nicht mit denen reden, aber die sind auf jeden Fall hier. Hey, hallo, guck mal. Ähm.
There was some biomass research data in there. Just a small amount, but every bit helps with the cure.
I assume these barriers were set up while construction was taking place.
Correct. Data files show a series of tunnels extending beyond the barriers.
The scale of these excavations seems to far exceed our mining efforts back on the Kronos 2.
Absolutely. Though, this excavation was done to leverage the asteroid's bulk as a protective layer against the biomass. Any valuable mineral extractions were merely a byproduct.
Does most of humanity have to live like this? Underground, so to speak?
For several generations now.
I'm sorry. We'll find a cure.
Ja, wir müssen eine Cure finden, genau. Genau, also damit ist die Frage auch geklärt, das sind Asteroiden. Da hatte ich letztens gesagt, Asteroid, Meteorit, was sind das für Gesteinsbrocken, die hier rumfliegen, aber das sind dann Asteroiden. So, jetzt haben wir hier Control Panel.
These are auxiliary controls for the extension bridges.
Correct, but they're currently inoperable. The power conduit extending from the entrance to the main facility has been retracted, likely an attempt to contain the biomass spread. To restore power to the extension mechanisms, you will need to re-engage the power conduit to cross the gap.
Understood. I will locate and re-engage the conduit.
Just keep in mind that you'll also be restoring power to the main research facility, including any dormant biomass within.
Jetzt konnte ich hier dem Power Conduit was zu sagen und hier unten aber irgendwie nicht, sondern nur da oben, oder wie? Hallo? Jetzt? Power Conduit?
This conduit appears capable of handling substantial voltage.
Yes, yes. Dann sagt da halt niemand was zu.
Power switch located.
Auch da sagt niemand was zu. Gut, dann macht man den Bypass mal aus. Oder an, was auch immer.
Be advised, Class 3 power fields will become active. Dormancy will be nullified.
Hey, Jack. I know you've got this, as always, but by restoring power, we're undoing something that was put in place as a die-hard safety precaution.
We're certain this is the only place we're going to find a contained biomass?
Assuming these fragmented station logs are correct? Yes.
Well, that's reassuring.
Ach nee, ich muss ja nicht hier drin warten. Ich muss jetzt an die Konsole, um das Ding wieder...
Finalizing connection.
Um das Ding jetzt zu steuern. Genau.
Power readings throughout the facility. Jack, once you have the bridge fully extended, you should be able to access the facility proper. Though I suspect some areas may have additional security requirements.
Nora, the research director, would have done everything she could to contain the outbreak. But there is no containing it. This was an eventuality.
It's fortunate that your disagreement over priorities led you to be elsewhere when the outbreak occurred.
It's only fortunate if I'm right.
So,
Bridge reconnection complete.
I'm heading back to the entry terminal.
haben wir das auch. Jetzt kommen wir da nämlich auch rein.
If these power readings are accurate, our suspicions appear confirmed.
What's that now? What suspicions?
Educated guess, rather.
Which is different how?
We were concerned that residual power currents may have allowed the biomass to continue spreading for some time after the lockdown.
Okay. And?
Webs have likely taken hold. Caution is advised, Jack.
Acknowledged.
Ja, das heißt, das ist hier alles voll mit Webs. Man hat es auch gerade schon gehört, die Head of Research-Tante scheint doch mit Dr. Harlan bekannt gewesen zu sein, ne, wenn er sie schon mit Vornamen anspricht.
Copy that, Jack.
So, auf ins Labor. Ui. Ja,
Biomass has taken hold here.
ein wenig.
Got this far. The rest of the facility will likely be much worse.
Will the fabricator still be operational?
Yes, at least enough that Jack should be able to reboot without issue.
Das ist ihre einzige Sorge. Wird Jack überleben?
In the security control room, I found a casualty.
According to logs, Adler Reyes.
He must have been trying to keep the scanners running to prevent the biomass from leaving the facility.
But if someone failed the scan,
They would have had to remain behind. Unfortunately, even the scanning room itself became contaminated.
you think that's how it spread to the rest of the station?
Most likely. With background contamination, the system would have had a difficult time producing accurate results. Inevitably, it failed.
Ja, so nahm das hier alles seinen Lauf.
Jack, you are now entering the facility's lobby. Biomass containment is located through the leftmost door.
The leftmost door. Diese da. Und was sehen meine müden alten Augen dort? Eine Knospe und ein Netz. Hallo.
Another one of the web forms. I still have no way to bypass.
Then try the labs. The research they were doing there might prove useful.
Copy that. I'll see what I can find. Electrical systems here are clearly suffering from extreme damage. The lobby's directory is effectively useless.
Good thing we've got someone who knows their way around.
Always happy to be of assistance, Captain.
Ach
I
ja.
was actually talking about Dr. Holland. But thanks.
Ja gut, Juno wird sich ja hier auch auskennen. So, was ist hier drin? Mhm. Ein... was auch immer und gespiegelte Texturen. Das scheint mir ein Defibrillator zu sein.
I found another casualty in the lobby.
Dr. Brianna Leamington.
She was one of our pathologists.
Data recovery successful. She apparently died shortly after completing an emergency containment procedure. I'll play back the file.
To engage a Type 3 containment firebreak, please follow these steps. First, locate the access panel. To release it, slide it perpendicular to its housing. Please discard the panel safely. Next, grip the emergency disconnect switch. Pull it sharply. Local power systems should deactivate. Lastly, if you have any reason to believe that you are carrying an infection, please refrain from crossing the firebreak. Doing so will nullify its effect.
Mhm.
There's some kind of added security here.
Dr. Everett Harlan reporting. Authorized laboratory access.
Voice-activated authorization.
Ooh.
That's a smart security feature.
Thank you. And you're welcome.
So, Schalter.
There's a switch embedded in the wall here. This must be the emergency disconnect Dr. Leamington pulled to try and slow the outbreak.
They really did all they could to try and get the infestation under control.
They knew once it was out, they couldn't stop it. All they could do was buy time for everyone else on the station.
Ja, und jetzt lebt hier natürlich alles wieder. Dann gucke ich nochmal eben fix die andere Tür. Aber ich glaube, wir müssen hier lang. Medical Wing. Medical Wing, hallo. Aber ich sehe schon, da ist auch schon so ein Furzer mit Netz. Genau, das habe ich mir schon gedacht. Da kommen wir da nicht durch. Aber gut, naja, zumindest werden wir hier, so viel kann ich schon mal verraten, ein nettes Gadget ergattern, was uns das Leben ein bisschen einfacher macht. So. Mein Gott, das Zeug ist auch überall. Okay, hier kommen wir nicht weiter. Dann müssen wir natürlich dahin, wo der Scheiß rauskommt.
What sort of research were they doing here?
The director was convinced a cure was impractical. So she poured everything into containment technology.
Did she have any luck?
When I left, she had everyone working on miniaturizing the insulation cloaking from our containment unit. I'm not sure how far they got.
Biological specimens.
The director was always in here. Dissecting, testing. She was tireless.
She must have had a cast iron stomach.
One of the toughest people I have ever known.
Ja, und hier wurde an dem Zeug rumgeforscht. Natürlich, warum auch nicht.
I assume these microscopes were used to observe the biomass.
I believe so, yes.
Development of the biomass containment technology required research at the macro, micro, and even nanoscopic scales.
With these microscopes, the researchers would have been able to observe the effects of their containment technology in real time, with a more manageable sample size, of course.
It must have been a heavy responsibility to work so closely with live biomass samples.
It was not without its risks.
So, would you say it was more or less risky than potentially infecting your own FTL drive?
If you have any less precarious solutions, Captain? Well, yes.
Ja, natürlich wird jetzt hier groß kritisiert, so hey, wie könnt ihr denn direkt mit dem Zeug arbeiten und ja, ist es gefährlicher als unseren FTL-Drive jetzt hier zu infizieren? Natürlich nicht. So, dann habe ich hier gehabt Unknown Device. Gib mir das Unknown Device bitte. Ich möchte über das Unknown Device reden. Ne, dann nehmen wir erstmal das Control Panel.
These controls are running some sort of automated procedure.
The system is no longer reachable over the network. Cut off by the biomass, no doubt. It must be an old test, abandoned during the outbreak and resumed now that we've restored power.
Ne, und auch alles zerschlagen.
This transparent aluminum is reinforced.
Unfortunately, that's still not enough to withstand concerted biomass growth.
So, ich würde schon gerne über das Unknown Device reden. Liebend gerne. Wirklich, wirklich gerne. Aha.
Is this some type of emitter?
It looks to be a functional prototype. I knew she. They were close, but I didn't know they had moved into practical testing. The basic concept was to surround the biomass with a cloak of electromagnetic insulation, preventing energy from reaching it.
Kind of like using a blanket to smother a flame.
Indeed. The idea was to build these cloak emitters as a reactive defense against the biomass, to contain it.
I can see a wide range of applications.
It's just all at best, not a solution. I wish you could have seen that.
Ja, und mit dem Zeug können wir halt die Biomasse ja inaktiv machen. Wir können auch diese Ticks damit einfangen für eine begrenzte Zeit. Und das Ding werden wir irgendwie auch kriegen hier demnächst mal.
This web is preventing me from further exploring the labs. Perhaps I can use one of these cloak emitters. The glass is broken. I'm afraid your former workplace has seen better days, Doctor.
External spread was what breached the chamber,
Seems to me the entire facility became one giant test chamber.
and that too was breached.
I wonder if they moved this prototype into production.
Even if they did, it clearly wasn't enough to stop an outbreak. This is why we need a cure.
So, das Ding können wir jetzt steuern. Wir können hier nach vorne, nach hinten. Wir können das Ding drehen. Und wir können hier die einzelnen Arme uns bewegen. Und zwar, wer hätte das gedacht? Kann ich über die Kontrollkonsole reden?
Is this a control interface?
That's right, for the robotic arm in the adjoining chamber. Use the holographic controls to adjust each part of the articulation.
Ne, wer hätte das gedacht? Können wir jetzt den Laser hier feuern und der hält jetzt für 15 Sekunden, damit wir auch da durchkommen.
Biomass at the exit neutralized.
It's possible I failed to foresee some of the
Tata.
eventual implications.
Sounds like your research director was on the right track.
Nora. She never gave up.
Ja.
I could hardly ever pull her away from her work.
Dr. Harlan, if I may interject, The local data I'm seeing implies that the director's efforts to develop cloak emitters proceeded beyond prototyping. Portable versions were installed in some of the X3 medtech shells. Several of these shells appear to have been left behind in the medical wing.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
I believe it may be possible to fit Jack with a similar device, a portable cloak emitter.
What is involved?
I'll need you to retrieve the data from one of the medtech shells here. With that, I should be able to reconstruct the portable cloak emitter's design.
Copy that. I'll see what I can find.
Na, wie praktisch. Wer hätte das denn gedacht, dass wir in der Lage sein werden, uns so ein Ding zu basteln?